What up YouTube, it's Misery's Company. In this video, we're going to talk about the Crusader. Not just the Crusader, but the best build for the Crusader. Now, as many of you have noticed, I have kind of gone through all of the classes, and this is one of the last few that I need before I do switch back to my main moving forward, which will be the Wizard, especially with the new Essence Mastery system. I would highly encourage everyone, including myself, to focus on a main and grind those essences. Those different bonuses you get from the Essence Mastery level ups are just phenomenal. They're so strong, so you definitely want to focus in on one character, but that's not the point of today's video. Today we are talking about the Crusader. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. So first things first, we are going to run an Elder Rift with the current build that I'm running. I will then showcase the build that I am running, including the legendaries, talk about set items a little bit, which are still, like I said in all my videos, are going to be not perfect because I am switching between all the different characters, or classes rather. But then I will talk about the two legendaries that I wish I did have so I could make this build so much more perfect. That is going to be the true best build for Crusader. Again, I'm not saying this is the only build for the Crusader, but I do want to offer the community a good underlying just baseline build for each class. That way, if you're new to the game, coming back to the game, you just want to know what the best build is for right now, or an easy to obtain build, you have that at your disposal in a playlist readily available on my profile. So, and then from there, we will expand on different builds that are good in different situations. These are just good generically overall. So like I said, first things first, we're going to jump into this here Elder Rift. Oh, apparently I have a legendary crest that I will go ahead and add to it. And then, yeah, we're going to go ahead and grind. I'm going to talk about the Crusader a little bit while I run the Elder Rift. I do think the biggest benefit of the Crusader is by far its benefits to its I guess allies would be the best way of saying it. It also definitely has a very positive effect when it comes to like AoE, especially with this build in particular. I'm going to go ahead and get all these guys as much as I can, drop everything, and then just cause absolute chaos. I mean, as you can see, just deleted that entire mob pack very easily there. Got a good, what, third-ish on our Elder Rift progression bar. This build is definitely focused more on AoE, so it is good for farming, it is good for Elder Rifts, it is good for, gosh, I mean, really anything. Dungeons are even good. It's really good for just all around. But that was my goal, obviously, for, like I said in the beginning, I want to be able to profit from, have most people profit from. It's a wide variety of options with one single build, which is what this build does. And like I said, I will go into the legendaries here momentarily, as well as the changes I would make if there's only two legendaries that I really wanted to get for this build, but I just could not obtain it. I was not lucky enough. And I don't want to use this so harshly, but I don't want to waste any more time on the Crusader with the new legendary essence system coming to the game. I want to be able to get back to my main and be making content on that grind, which is the Essence Mastery system. All right, let's go down here and get the yellow real quick. I will say from a single target damage standpoint, it's not that it's bad, it's just that it's definitely focused on more of a, oh, I got a legendary. So, oh, two legendaries for the class I'm getting ready to get off of. Love that. Where's he going? Where's he going? Here. But yeah, so let's go take on the boss, and then we will go from there with the build. So like I said, the multi-target, I guess, avenue of this build is very strong. The defense, like even as a solo in this dungeon, I'm not taking a ton of damage. It is a very slow run compared to some of the other builds with some of the other classes. But again, your role as a Crusader is really true of more of like a tanky support. Let's see what we get here from the legendary gem. Berserker's Eye. It's unfortunate wasn't anything better, but that's okay. Fodder it is. Go and sell or salvage everything. Now let's talk about the build a little bit. All right, so like I said, I did enjoy my time on the Crusader compared to my time like on the Berserker or Barbarian rather. I did feel like I enjoyed my time more so here on the Crusader. I felt the viability both as a solo as well as in a group. Definitely felt like I gave a lot to the team, especially when it came to the raids. I feel like my warband is definitely going to miss me being a part of or being a Crusader. But, you know, back to the Wizard, I like that DPS style, ranged style when it comes to MMORPGs, so ARPGs. All right, so let's go ahead and look at my legendaries here. First one is I am rocking, make sure that two pieces that I got were not the ones that I wanted, and they are not. So for the headpiece, I'm rocking Glower of the Reclusive, but honestly, this is just a filler. I don't have one that applies to this build literally at all. But like I said, I will show you the legendaries that I would recommend if I could pick the two that I would want to make this build even better. But the chest piece is viable. So Consecration, radius increased by 20%. If you're not familiar with the Crusader, I will show the skills here in a second, so it sort of makes sense. And then when it comes to the shoulders, we are doing the shoulders. Well, it's the reservist because it is what it is, but I'll show you. It's the one that increases the Holy Banner by 30%. Holy Banner is such a key part of this entire build. It's so strong. It's like, even if you're using it solo, it is worth it to use it solo and get the duration bonus than it is to even have it as a party. Like, it just is an all-around fantastic buff, which again, we'll look at the skills here in a second. The pants, bladed Jambu. So drawn quarter mount becomes a fiery steed that burns the ground and enemies, but no longer drags enemies. So drawn quarter is that horse one that sort of moves typically by default. It pulls people with you. A lot of people like that. I personally would rather have the fiery steed. That way I am leaving fire on the ground. It does still pull the aggro with people, so I don't feel me personally, I don't feel the need to physically pull them like it does by default. And then it also feeds off your you get more firestorms with your alliance mates or your clan mates or your just dungeon mates or whoever you're running with. If you're in a group, it is very easy if they have any wind abilities to just cause a quick firestorm, and burning over time is a damage over time effect, which I obviously can appreciate a great deal. Moving on, we do have the staff, which does Falling Sword now calls down 5 electrified swords in a formation around you that arc, damaging nearby enemies and focusing on AoE damage with this build. Last but not least, this one actually buffs the auto attacks, which is interesting. So Punish is the auto attack that we're buffing. It says, while Punish has granted you hardened senses, your blocks will trigger an explosion, dealing 2,922 damage to all nearby enemies. Again, my current set bonuses are just kind of all over the place. What I would say though is, what's the one I'm looking for? Not channeled. Well, you could actually make an argument for the gray set, and I'll show you why here in a second. But the one that boosts your, what is it called? The duration of your effects. That's what I'm looking for here. Vithus. God, I can't even think of it. The one that was nerfed. Vithus would be phenomenal, especially with some of the buffs that we're giving ourselves with the Holy Banner. Speaking of Holy Banner, let's go ahead and talk about the skills before I show you the 2 legendaries I would recommend switching to from this build to make it truly perfect. Punish is the auto attack. So strike an enemy for whatever damage and gain hardened senses, increasing your block chance by 30% for 2 seconds. This does, in my opinion, help make it a little bit more of a tanky build for the Crusader. Sacred Fire just does more of an AoE damage. So it technically would do more damage, but this one keeps you alive, which personally, between using the 2, I did like a lot. And then obviously with the shield that we're using, you're getting a little bit more damage. When it blocks, you also trigger an explosion, which I do personally enjoy quite a lot. Drawn Quarter we talked about, and then we're just getting the additional damage from burning them. The second skill here is Consecration. So consecrate the ground around you, dealing 29,000 damage to all nearby enemies over 6 seconds. Cooldown's 15 seconds. Radius increased by the chest. Love that. Falling Sword is the second one. Cooldown of 15 seconds. I will say that the Crusader is very big on cooldowns. You go a large amount of time with having just no skills available for a while, so you do end up auto attacking a little bit more. But I feel like your burst windows with those cooldowns is quite high with this build, in my opinion, especially when it comes to crowds. Falling Sword is very good. I actually really enjoyed this one, especially when it came to the AoE damage it does. And then obviously Holy Banner, cooldown 24 seconds. Playing a Holy Banner inspires nearby allies for 11.2 seconds. Increase critical hit chance by 100%, but decreasing crit hit damage to 135% instead of double. So just nerfs it a little bit, but you do get 100% crit chance. Crit chance over 100% will be granted up to 65% critical hit damage. Okay, there you go. So anything over will be added to your crit hit damage. So you could be getting back up to 200% very easily. And then we're increasing the duration with the shoulders here. Now, like I said, there was 2 changes I would highly recommend making if and when you get these 2 legendaries. So the first one is the head, which is going to be Arrow Keeper. which is right here. So the inspiration from Holy Banner now moves with you. So now when you, instead of dropping the Holy Banner and having a mob or a player in PvP be able to attack the banner and literally delete it, you can now keep it with you, making it all that much harder, but also moving the radius of its buff with you as well, which is super good in both PvE and PvP, both for yourself as well as your allies. This is a must, and I could not get this a part of my build for the video, so I wanted to make sure I draw special attention to this legendary. The other one that would have made this legendary, this build much more perfect in my opinion. So the weapon I'm talking about is going to be this one. I'm not even going to try to say it. Basically, your sweep attack now consumes energy to continually damage all nearby enemies while you move. This one, what I would do is I would actually get rid of consecration and use this one in its place, which then I think you would then need to move your shoulders as well, because, or one of them, your chest piece. Your chest piece you would definitely want to change, which I would go, I forgot to write this one down. Which one was it? Falling sword now also decreases enemy movement speed. You could do that one as well. But let's see. I think there was another one I wanted to point out to you all. Maybe not. The bombardment from drawn quarter could make it a little bit more damage. So I would definitely pick one of those two, in my opinion. But yeah, so that's what I would do there. So you get rid of consecration rather, and then you do add that, and then you're doing some pretty serious AoE damage, making this build very, very strong for both PvE, PvP, all things PvE, I might add, dungeons, Elder Rifts, raids, anything where you're going to party, especially, you are buffing the heck out of your party while still doing a ton of damage as a solo. Just work around your cooldowns. Don't waste them. I did notice, especially when I was running dungeons, that if you waste your cooldowns, you go a good 15 seconds without anything to do, it does feel bad. So it does require, dare I say, a little bit of intelligence to use this build correctly. You can definitely min-max it as you get used to the Crusader, learning times of the dungeons, when you're going to get your cooldowns back in the fights. Obviously raids, you just use them on cooldown, but especially dungeons, I want to bring a little bit of attention to that. We won't go over legendary gems because it really just depends on what you have and what you have available to you. But I'm running currently mostly 5 stars with my bloody reach. It's doing currently nothing because I'm just holding on to it till I go back to my wizard. Let me know what you think in the comments below of this build for the Crusader. Like I said, my goal is to give just a baseline foundation of a good best build for all classes, and then expand from there into some fun or unique ones that might be better in very specific areas, while these builds are good for all around use for a new or returning player. But I do want to hear what build you're currently using, so make sure you drop that in the comments below. Until next time, guys, lock it in.